Advanced Wars 1 plus 2 Reboot Camp is a perfect game. There's no other word for it. It is the most well balanced game I think I've ever played. And I played many games, including those in the real time strategy and turn based strategy department. But none have come close to the level of balance I've come across in this game. I mean, I've put so many hours into this game so far, yet I can count the number of fights I've had because of how well balanced this game is. For example, me and my cousin were playing local co op against some CPUs, and despite us having an overwhelming advantage, it still took us like 30 minutes to finally achieve the victory. Because despite the fact that we backed them into a corner and surrounded them with overwhelming military might multiple times, the computers were somehow able to just squeeze out round after round like a cockroach that just won't stay flushed down the toilet. And this wasn't an isolated incident either. I played a 1v1 match against a CPU upon returning home, thinking it'd be a quick match, but it ended up taking several hours because on one moment I would back the CPU up, and another they would do the same. And on we went. I was even playing that match on a custom stage, which I will cover later, but I ultimately contribute this back and forth to just how simple this game is, and not because I'm a horrible strategist, because we won't talk about that. When it comes to turn-based strategy, this game takes everything and strips it down to its most basic form. But unlike most other strategy games that introduce so many specialized units for certain scenarios that ultimately upset the overall balance and become OP, this game holds back from doing that and focuses on the absolute bare essentials. This allows the game to be incredibly easy to pick up and just start playing, even if you haven't played the original game. But seriously though, if you haven't played this game before, just skip the tutorial. My cousins, who are much younger than me, were able to proficiently play through a battle. That's the ultimate beauty of this game. It's easy to pick up, yet deceptively difficult to truly master. Hence why the matches were the way they were. And this just makes this game so addictively fun. Leave it to Nintendo to take something like a turn-based strategy game, which really isn't known for their compelling and engaging gameplay, bring it back to basics, and ultimately make it fun again. It truly is a feat. Of course, when it comes to Nintendo, it's going to lean on the easier side. What, do you seriously think it's going to be Dark Souls level of difficulty? But going back to the balance and back to basics nature, it is easy for the tides to turn literally every single round, with every round offering a new set of rules and challenges for one to overcome. It becomes ever so addicting to rise to the occasion every round to see what new problems you can solve. If I had one big complaint about this, though, it is the fact that these matches can go on a bit too long. That's probably due to the fact that I like to have absolute stupid rule sets to make the battles as ridiculous as possible. Complementing the absolutely fun gameplay is the equally fun characters in this game. Each has a distinct personality that subtly identifies what they specialize in, and it just adds to the fun-loving nature of this game. The main character you'll encounter, especially in the beginning, is Nell, the lovely commander-in-chief of the Orange Star Nation who guides you throughout your journey. Then you have the COs, starting with Andy, a plucky amateur CO who's proficient with a wrench. Then there's Max, an absolute Chad who loves his mechanized units. Last but certainly not least is Sammy, a fitness-obsessed young woman who makes sure all troops under her regime never miss PT. But seriously, these guys are pretty whipped into shape. I mean, her specialty is called double time. So if that doesn't tell you how she is, then I don't know what will. Now, each of these characters just ooze with charm. And it's not just charm, but each has their tactical advantages, as well as shortcomings. For example, Max's tank units pack a punch, but when it comes to infantry and ranged units, he falls short. It forces you to really think about what you'll be doing, and really pick the right CO that fits your kind of personality and how you play, and it really adds to the strategy you must take. especially if you're facing a foe who can take advantage of said weakness. Now, you need not worry about this in the beginning, though it will be introduced later as you cycle through the COs. Throughout the tutorial, most of your time is spent with Nell, as she kind of acts as your tutor, and each level never gets boring, as she is just so full of charm and sass, along with other things. After further consideration, don't skip the tutorial, otherwise you'll miss out on quality time with Nell. In fact, the whole intro section is made tolerable because of the characters. There's the lovely Nell, along with the young underdog that is Andy, and of course your first big baddie, Olaf. He is the commander of the Blue Moon Army, and he is a no-nonsense kind of guy. Honestly, he just steals every scene every time he opens his big mouth. On the outside, he's headstrong and talks a real big game, but inside, he's just a puppy dog. While the characters are a highlight, the story, well, the less said the better. Not just because in typical Nintendo fashion, it's basic, but it deeply echoes what's happening in real life, which is probably why this has such a cartoonish look to distance itself from real-world situations. I mean, this game was delayed twice because of it, so in the meantime, I'll just put that back up on the shelf. And then, there's all the extra goodies you get with the game. And boy, what a lot we have. There's a shop, local and online versus, a shop, a gallery so that I can simp endlessly for Nell. Did I mention there's a shop? And of course, saving the best for last, the map builder. And what a better place to start than that? This game fully allows you to make your own custom scenario using a map builder. And whether you want to build a hyper-strategic map that forces you to truly use your wit to win the day, or just go ham and make a stupid map that emphasizes total chaos, it's entirely up to you. The world is your oyster, literally. It's a pretty comprehensive tool set too. The UI and overall ease of use can be a bit clunky at first, but you'll quickly get used to it. My only real complaints here is the fact that there isn't much of a legend, so you kinda gotta guess at first. That, and the very small nitpick that these maps can be just too damn small. That severely limits just how creative you can get. But it is something you can work around. And going back to the balance, it is a very simple setup, giving you mountains and forests and cities and water features and everything in between. And it just works. Due to the fact that it's a simple system, you will never feel confused by what should go where. Instead, you are left wondering how you should set it up to be as strategic as possible, or vice versa. And again, it's just oh so easy to pick up and start building. Thank you, Nintendo, for keeping it simple. Outside of that, Versus works very well. It's nice to use if you just want a quick consequence-free battle, solo or with friends. The shop is absolutely stuffed with, well, stuff, and only grows the further into the story you get. Oh, and before I go, I gotta talk about the music. I'm gonna be honest, while I absolutely love the high-octane rah-rah energy to the music, the remixes don't really do it for me. Yeah, they're awesome because the original tunes were awesome, but to be honest, I can't even put my finger on why I don't like it. Not sure if it's the instrument choices or if it's the fact that it's too similar to the original GBA tunes, but I can't help but to feel it could have been so much more. Again, it's just a nitpick that certainly doesn't ruin my overall perspective of this game. I just want to give you my honest thoughts, both positive and negative. But yeah, as you can tell, there's quite a lot packed into this game. And it's oh so refreshing to see, especially after being given some games that were just a barren desert when it came to content. I'm looking at you, Mario Strikers Battle League. But just the campaign here will probably run you about 30 to 40 hours. Not to mention all the extra modes and versus and of course multiplayer. So yeah, if you dig turn-based strategy games or are on the fence about trying them, give this one a go. As I mentioned before, my cousins really got into this game, and they are the Fortnite-playing kind of kids. So if they can fall in love with this style of game and the gameplay it offers, then I thoroughly believe you will too. And yeah, that's my review of Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, guys. If you couldn't tell, I really dig this game. It's so chock full of personality, and it's just so engaging to play. It's just old school turn-based strategy at its finest. And it's just so refreshing to see, especially with the times we're living in. And I know it's a bit controversial right now because of what's going on overseas, but I don't want that at all to affect my overall perspective of this game. This game is pretty damn near perfect. It does have its flaws, and it certainly isn't perfect, but it is damn near close just because of how fun it is and how engaging the characters are in the narrative. And if you guys have played the game, let me know how you liked it. Hit me up in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I think on that note, this is a good place to end this video. I will bid you adieu. Thank you and goodbye.